Yeah, for
So
sure.
why did you decide to trust a random stranger on the internet to save your marriage?
I was in a very dark place. I was so this wasn't the first time this has happened to me. Not
Okay.
so much losing my marriage, but being like cheated on and something of that nature. Um, and for this to happen with the woman that I was married to made me realize that maybe there was more to it than pushing the blame off onto her and making it seem like she was the bad guy. Maybe I really needed to, look into why this kept happening to me. Because every relationship I've ever been in, I've always been cheated on, in one way, shape, or form. Yeah,
We have
just
we
like
have we have that in common.
stories I relate to. Let's just put it that way. um, but yeah. So yeah. So then I uh, I joined the program. Really started digging into
Wait,
not
Dave,
so much
how long ago did you join?
back in March 20th.
Okay, so you've been in the program for a minute. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yep. So back in March, which that's when she was really, 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 really pushing hard for the divorce. And that's when she actually ended up filing and going through with the all that, the whole process of getting served. And um if it wasn't for the course, I probably would have lost my cool during that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I lost my cool several times prior to that. But then basically watching, your videos and everything, and learning how to cope with that and learning how to address it when she did actually serve me.
Mhm.
Um, it really, it definitely helped me go get through that part. Um, and now things are crazy good, like almost scary good. Um,
I mean, you don't have to spare me the details. Go ahead, tell me. What does that
well,
mean?
it's the fact that, well, okay, so for one, the divorce got, in her words, it got, something happened to the paperwork, and now she still wants the divorce, but she has to refile. And
She just hasn't found time to do that.
right. Yeah.
It's like I'm so, I'm sorry. It's just such the feminine archetype. It's just so like I'm guessing she's a stubborn woman.
Oh God, yes, very.
Like I said I was gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, but just not right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically what I got.
Where are things with her right now, day by day?
Oh, dude, like we just went shopping today. Me, her, and our old or our 5-year-old, we went shopping, and it was literally like I was hanging out with my best friend. Like, just was like she was she was dancing around in the car like she used to always do, just kind of bopping around and just like putting her
It
feet
feels
up on the dash and just totally relaxed.
it feels like
Just
a lot of weight is off the chest. It's like that barrier is kind of down, and so a lot of guys, Dave, as you know, like a lot of these things you did to kind of cause her to be so happy with the gifts, that wouldn't have worked when you first came to the program.
no,
So
no.
what exactly? So like, what did you do leading up to that in your own
Uh,
actions that caused her to be receptive toward those things?
so they started out really small,
Yeah.
um, really small. Like, I mean, to the point where she would get pissed about even something as small as like my thing would be to always have her coffee cup. Um, on the Keurig in the morning before I'd
Uh,
leave because I always left where she did. So I
yeah.
would have her coffee up and everything all ready right there on the Keurig, ready to rock and roll. And all she had to do is basically put her pod in,
Yeah.
hit start, and yeah, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
And there before the program, that alone would piss her off and set her off. To the,
Really?
oh yeah, like don't I
Because she saw you as if she's like, so yeah, she's in that like negative sentiment override we talked about, right? So when she's in there,
you
it's
know
like no matter what you do positively, she always sees it as manipulation. Don't do this. You're kind of going against my story. So yeah, continue. Like what was it? What were the things or the things that you were doing that started to shift that?
I just kept doing it. And I kept doing it, and then another thing was I was never very good with helping out as far as like household chores, things
Yeah.
of that nature. She's always been kind of the stay-at-home mom, and I've always been the provider. I go to work all day, I come home, I want to put my feet up and relax. Well, in her eyes, I still needed to be doing these other things along with that.
Right.
Little chores, little things like that, everything, the dishes, stuff like that. So so she was pretty checked out for the first few months to the point where, well, she was with, she'd started having an emotional affair that turned into a physical affair as well during this whole time. And that's when I lost my cool there
Yeah.
towards the beginning
Yeah.
because I just couldn't even fathom her doing that with another man. Um,
Yeah.
and so that really pushed me off the deep end there for a while. I said a lot of hurtful things to her in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
You were really hurt, dude.
oh, I was extremely hurt.
Yeah. I mean,
And
how did you forgive her for that and move forward from it?
oh man, that took a long time. That took a lot of deep digging, um, and just really sitting with those emotions and really just, I mean, I had some nights there I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep for, jeez, it felt like weeks. Um, I finally had to go see a doctor, um, just because my anxiety was just crazy out of whack. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't sleeping. I lost a ton of weight because of all the stress and anxiety that I was putting myself through. And well, I was blaming her for a lot of it. Um, and she even noticed it, and she actually even told me like there was one day where she was like, "You look sick, like you look sickly," and that's when I realized like I need to really buckle down and figure out how I can work through this. Um, I think I watched I can't remember who I talked to, but they told me to watch the one videos pertaining to forgiveness that you had, and I really started working through those and journaling and writing things down. And another thing that one of my life coaches told me to do was to like write things down and then burn it.
Yep.
And so I started doing some of those exercises and stuff like that. Another thing was forgiving my parents. Um, there was a lot of things that I found out that they did that I was doing subconsciously to my kids and her, um, that I didn't even realize. I was treating them just like my dad.
Yep.
My dad treated us like shit.
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing to her, and I was doing the same thing to the kids. And
Forgiving your father is like uncoupling that like that tie you had with him and the way that he treated you and you treat your kids. Like that's like that severing of that cord, right? So you can kind of treat your kids how you and your wife's better, right? Essentially.
Well,
I
and
mean,
that's the thing. Like I always told her I wanted to treat her and the kids better than my parents treated us. But then
and
I was so
consciously, Dave, when you're conscious of that thought and you're aware of it, you're calm, that does happen. But when you go back into like the unconscious, like autopilot responses, you get emotional, your brain will default to the things it already knows. Right. And so
right.
that's why like that having that forgiveness, it like separates that like unconscious emotional connection you have with your father in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. So the hard part with me was that I lost my dad back in 2020.
Yes.
And so then I had a lot of feelings of like how can I ask him for forgiveness, or how can I forgive him when he's not like here anymore.
Yeah.
um I actually went out and just sat at his grave and just talked just talked to him, and just really explained to him, you know, a lot of the things that I was realizing. And I don't know, it was like I don't know if it was him or if it was just the fact that I finally like got it all out there. But I felt like
It was like a
I
relief.
felt like this relief, yeah, like a release.
Mhm.
Like something was holding me down, and
Yeah.
then it was like I could breathe. And I was able to forgive him. I was able to forgive him, and I was able to start putting in that work to make sure that I was treating my kids and my family, for that matter, better. And I've told her that too. I did. I sat down with her one night. I told her everything that I was, doing to work on, becoming that better person. And she's got a lot of past stuff that I know she's still got to work through, especially with her parents.
Yep.
Um, Not to
And-
go into too
but
detail.
like Dave, whether you directly see this or not, whether she noticed, I don't know if you told her what you did with your father or you not, but like
No, I didn't. I didn't tell her exactly what I.
you don't have to. By you
Yeah,
doing that, you are serving as like a role, a model for her to look up to.
and I've noticed that she has been a lot of the ways that I changed talking to her, and she's actually been using a lot of the same things towards me as well now. Like she's following my ways of speaking.
Mm.
So like to the point where okay, for instance today, I was getting a little stressed and a little overwhelmed
Yes.
um because I had a lot going on this morning. I
Yeah.
did. I got up real early this morning and had the dishes and everything all cleaned. I did the bathroom and everything, and then I was just going to go, myself was just going to go to town. And then she'd gotten up and around and everything. And she's like, well, I'd really like to go with you if you don't mind. Yeah, let's go. Let's hop in the car and go. But I said, I got to be back by a certain time because I had a meeting with you. I didn't tell her, what it
Yeah.
was about. I
Yeah.
told her I have a Zoom meeting today and I can't miss it this time. And so anyway, so we're in town and we're shopping and everything. Everything's going good. And we'd went to we just went to McDonald's to grab some lunch real quick. And like as I was getting ready to pull back out onto the main road, it kind of just I don't know why, but like every once in a while I just get like this overwhelming feeling of like I'm in a hurry. And there's no reason for me to ever feel like need to be in a hurry, but for whatever reason, I was just like, it all of a sudden hit me. And I could just feel my anxiety like getting like going through the roof. And she can, oh my God, she picks up on that stuff so
Oh,
fast.
super intuitive. Yeah. Yeah.
She's so intuitive to that. And she instantly is like, okay, why are you freaking out? Like, why are you like, she's like, I can tell that you are like about ready to have a panic attack. And like, I didn't even realize it. And then as soon as she said it, then I like almost made it worse because then I'm like, oh shit, like I'm freaking out right now. So then I just told her, I said, I was just truthful with her. I was like, you know what? You're right. I am freaking the hell out right now. Um, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I told her, I I just realized that I forgot to get something at the store, and I feel like we're not gonna have time now to go back to the store to get what I needed
Hmm.
and home in time. And she was like, is that seriously what you're stressing about? And I said, yeah, I it is. I said, I think that's exactly what it is. And she's like, well, what is it? Like, what was it that you needed? And I told her I needed some staples I can't remember. I think it was staples for my staple gun.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's seriously what you're stressing? I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm stressing.
And not to go too deep into it, Dave, but I guarantee you there's been moments in your past, maybe with your father, where like you would forget something and maybe he would chastise you, or maybe someone else in your life, and that's where that comes from. But I just want to point to the fact that what maybe you would have done, or at least most guys would do in those moments, is one, they wouldn't even acknowledge, right, that they're experiencing that emotion, or if even if they did, they didn't want to open up because it seems like, oh, like it's weak, or it's like they haven't been taught to share their emotions. And so what happens over years, a decade of this, right, is like those little disconnections over time. But the fact that you were able to change the pattern and be like, no, this is how I feel, and this is why. You guys are able to connect, and that she feels closer to you because of it. I just want to kind of summarize, and then I have a couple more questions for you. So,
Yeah,
came into the program, your wife wanted to be out. She's like wanted to rush through the process, like I'm done, it's over. Now she lost the divorce papers and she hasn't filed. And you guys are literally like things are great right now. You guys went out to the store together. She's
yeah.
letting is she letting you be physically affectionate with her?
Mm,
Yeah,
no,
it's on the way.
getting
It's on the way.
it's it's getting really close. So
I
yesterday,
think
for
well, I
instance,
think Dave, I think it's time for you, like not like today unless you want to, but like I think it's time for you to like set up like a fun date, and lead.
oh yeah, she was actually hinting towards it a little bit today, to be honest with you, to the point where she was like, it'd be kind of nice to go up to UP, like either just myself or, you know, like,
It reminds me, it reminds me of this funny video of like how women speak. Like this girl's in the store with her mom, and she's like, "Oh, that's such a nice dress. I wonder what it would be like to wear it. Oh well." It's like that's how women speak. It's like, oh, that'd be nice to do. Anyways, da da da.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
hitting
funny
it.
because morning I was getting my coffee around and everything, and I was making kind of a little bit of a noise, and she sleeps on the couch now. So it actually kind of tables turned. So I was the one originally sleeping on the couch. Well, then she, I think, eventually felt bad that I'd been sleeping on the couch for like 3 months, and she actually felt pretty much forced me and back into the bedroom, and she's been sleeping on the couch now. And so, like, there for a while, I'd like tiptoe around, try to be real quiet in the mornings and things.
Mhm.
Now I'm just like, fuck it. If she wants to sleep on the couch, I'm gonna still make all the noise that I want in the
She
morning
can
and
she can come in
like
bed whenever she wants.
go back in the bedroom. So a lot of times in the mornings now, as soon as she hears I get up, she instantly just gets up off the couch and goes straight to the bedroom.
Ah,
Uh, so then I can't remember what I did the other morning, but anyways, she came in there and she grabbed a hold of my freaking nipple, and I just looked at her like, "The fuck are you doing?" And she's like, and then she like was playing with me, like she was like punching me in the arm, like just a play punch. She started play punching me in the arm, and then she grabs my freaking nipple and she like twists it, and I'm like, and I looked at her and I go, "You better be careful," because she wasn't wearing a bra. And I said, "You better be careful. I'm gonna
give
give
it
it
back.
back."
Yeah.
And and so then I think she kind of like snapped out of it then for a second there, because there for a second like it was starting to go somewhere where it hadn't went in a long time,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
I
very
mean,
very
yeah.
playful.
Yeah, it's
And
just having that patience. Yeah, very flirty with you. Yeah, man, just it's honestly, and you know this at this point in the program, but it's just about
oh,
doing more of the same, being patient with it, like seeing the wins when they come. And at the time we have remaining, Dave, I want to ask, like, what for you was like the most impactful part of this program? I mean, you might have already mentioned it with the forgiveness in your father. That was made you tearful, but if you can name another one that was really helpful for you.
um forgiving her,
Mm, yeah,
that took a long time,
yeah,
and still I know I still haven't fully,
I
because
know.
I still get these little triggers um
Yeah,
that I need to work through still.
yeah,
But
yep.
yeah, I it's in it, and honestly, I don't think it's time, and I think that's the reason why she hasn't came back yet, or I haven't. I don't even know if I would accept it at this point. I don't know. I'm like at that point where I'm like you're doing, like you always say, like when they're doing the teeter with the scale and everything, like I feel like I have her on that scale, and like I'm still trying to balance out whether or not, if she came to me like tomorrow and she said, "Hey, I'm ready to sit down and actually work on this marriage, like I actually want to try and make things work." I don't know what I would say to that.
Mm.
I don't know.
That's good to know, man. I mean, to be honest with yourself, like, and honestly, like, you've probably seen some of the testimonies of other guys, but there's always been those moments for a lot of the guys, especially when there was like an affair where the wife wants to come back in the life fully, and the guy's actually saying, "I'm not ready yet." Like, no. And the wife's like, "What?" And that's like a test. That's a form of a test. Like, will you accept me back? Just like, are you going to be like sacrificing some of your values in a way or your process just to get me back, right? And so it is a test when she does it at that point. And if you don't feel that's 100% ready in your heart, then it's like not time yet.
Right, right, yeah, and that's what I've been trying to work through that as well, because I feel like we're getting right there. I feel it, but then it's just kind of like I don't think she's ready yet, and I don't think I'm ready yet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
But
she's
you're on that process. And Dave, is there any questions you have for me or anything last words you want to say?
I did have some questions, but gosh, I can't think of them right off my
Oh,
head now.
okay. Okay.
I can't think of what the heck it was I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Um, if I do, I guess I'll shoot you a message if that's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
Um, so like the last question I always ask on these calls, it's an interesting one. If you said you joined the program 6 months ago,
Yeah, it was
March.
early March. Yeah,
It's a
it was
while
just
ago. If you can go a year back, let's go a year and talk to yourself. and give yourself a piece of advice a year ago, what would you tell him in the short time you would have with
Oh Jesus.
him? Summarized.
Dude, I've literally I've thought of this a million times because once I realized all the things that I was doing wrong in my marriage, I was just like, man, I would love to go back and kick myself right square in the ass. Um, the big one would be just really validating her feelings and um really helping her. She's lived with anxiety and depression her entire life, damn near. And it's only gotten worse since she's gotten older and the kids have gotten older and everything. And I always thought that it was just her and it wasn't me. Like there was nothing wrong with me. And her parents would always say things of that nature as well, to
Mhm.
where, oh, that's just the way she is. That's the way she's always going to be. Like you love her for who she is, or you don't love her at all, you know. And like ever since I've learned how to like really validate her feelings and really talk to her and really sit with her in those moments, we've had an amazing turn.
Yeah.
um we can have conversations now that we've never had conversations about before. She's opened up more to me. She's told me more things now, things that she's never told me in the 10 years we've been together. And if she did, I wasn't listening, or I wasn't like in tuned to where I
Mhm.
was actually taking everything in that she was telling me.
Mhm.
And there's certain things that she's like, well, I know I've told you this before. And I'm just kind of like, well, enlighten me, like like
Yeah.
even if just let's go over it again. Like, like I want to make sure that I'm understanding,
Mhm.
and
Yeah. And that rabid curiosity of actually like not just taking the first answer and showing that you actually care. Surprise, surprise, she is feeling more like safe to open up to you. I really appreciate you, Dave, like sharing everything.